Is live overhead. Of course, very hot temperatures right now across Southern California, and this was the prime concern for many areas, a wildfire breaking out with these conditions, and we're seeing it right now. Evacuation warnings, I should say, have been issued for homes that are nearby. Again, this is the point fire. This gives you a map right now of the current affected areas. I can tell you it's near Soledad Canyon Road and Golden Valley Road. The fire burning to the west of Golden Valley and just south of Soledad Canyon Road there in the Santa Clarita area. So this is north of the 14 freeway and east of Interstate 5. You can see a lot of smoke coming up. Soledad Canyon, from what we can see from this live video from Air 7, still open right now, but certainly there potentially could be some closures of the roads in that immediate area. And again, those evacuation warnings at this place. But again, there are homes very close, just on the other side of that smoke, homes that are going to be in the middle of that smoke. Probably a good idea to pack up and get moving due to the flames and the potential for this to spread. At last check, it has the potential at this point, the potential to grow within the hour to some 100 acres. Joining us now, Nika Kazori, give us an idea of the weather conditions that we're facing. Of course, this was a big concern.
Absolutely. We've been talking about these really hot temperatures for quite some time now, Mark, and then looking at what the conditions are out in this area. They're not, so Santa Clarita is not under that red flag warning area. We do have a section of Southern California that actually is under that red flag warning. But right now we're looking at temperatures there in the triple digits. Relative humidity is down to about 30%. And we're looking at wind speeds right now in that 10 to 15 mile per hour range. But of course, we have gusts that are nearing 20 miles per hour. So these are perfect fire condition weathers, especially whenever we have such dry conditions like this. And we're under an extreme heat warning. You can see just how large this area is that is under this extreme heat warning. Now, this area in this red shade, this is where those red flag warnings are in place. So you can see it's just barely right before Santa Clarita. They're not in that zone. But of course, we do have those fire conditions present out there as well. We're talking about really hot temps, relative humidity down to about 30%, some breezy conditions there too. We're tracking a westerly wind right now and gusts again up to 20 miles per hour. So this might even increase in the next couple of hours as we hit the peak of where those wind gusts should be this afternoon. But right now, though, at least we're looking at wind speeds around that 11 mile per hour range. So at least we're not talking about crazy strong wind speeds. We're not talking about Santa Ana winds, but again, not a good combination. We're talking about really hot temperatures, low relative humidity, and breezy conditions that could start to pick up in the next couple of hours. Here's a look at live Mega Doppler 7000. You can see the direction that the wind is blowing. We are looking at that westerly wind right now, and exactly where that fire is, that's where we are tracking those gusts, clocking in just under 20 miles per hour. So right now, Mark, not great conditions, but it could be worse.
Yeah, and you look at those homes, you're seeing it from Air 7 just on the other side of the flames and the smoke. But perhaps for firefighters, if there's any good news to the situation here, you saw a water drop just a moment ago. So water drops are occurring, and you see the homes there on the top right of the screen. But the natural fire break, the fact that here on the south side of the flames, you have the natural break, no homes right there, and then some trails, whether those are hiking trails or whatever they may be, that may assist in the firefight once you get some firefighters on the ground. And man, you just look at all of that heavy smoke kind of laying down across the area there. Center Point Parkway, that is Center Point Parkway at Golden Triangle Road, again, just off of Soledad Canyon Road. This fire is starting within the past half hour or so. And the real concern, after speaking to Niku there, is you got the conditions that are certainly presenting problems, but the fact that this could in fact grow to 100 acres, that was the initial estimate from firefighters. And right there you see structure protection now actively underway with fire crews in Santa Clarita. Also joining me now is Colleen Sullivan as we watch this fire that has broken out in the Santa Clarita area.
I know, and Mark, we were talking about it, almost a half hour ago, saying these are the conditions that firefighters do not need. We are in this incredible summer heat wave that we're experiencing, and now you can see the community out here. They look at how many homes right there are being impacted. They see the smoke. All you need is some breeze just to fly one of those embers somewhere else. So right now you can see an area that is definitely probably very anxious. You can see cars are still on Soledad Canyon Road driving, but I can't imagine them not shutting this down at some point.
Yeah, you would think that that would be a possibility to shut down that portion of the road, as firefighters are likely going to need to stage in that area. But you see all of those crews right here on Gravett Place, other homes, and it looks like some businesses as well, just beyond those homes where firefighters are on scene. If you live there, that has got to be a good sign and reassuring to see those fire crews pull up. Getting a lay of the land, again, if you are just tuning into this breaking coverage, this is the Point Fire right off of Center Point Parkway, other main road, Soledad Canyon Road, and then to the east of the fire is Golden Valley Road. Evacuation warnings is the last that I have heard. Nothing mandatory, but certainly you see those homes so very close, and at least that main fire break right there in between the concentrated structures on the left side of your screen, that live video you're seeing from Air 7, and again on the right, that gives you an idea of the impacted areas. We will pause here for just a moment. We're going on TV. Hi, everyone. Mark Cutter-Robles and Colleen Sullivan. Hi, everyone. Mark Cutter-Robles and Colleen Sullivan. We are breaking in right now with an active fire burning in the Santa Clarita area. This is the Point Fire, 4 to 5 acres at last check that has burned, with the potential for many more, up to 100 acres, according to LA County firefighters. This is near Soledad Canyon Road and Golden Valley Road. It broke out within the past half hour or so. It is hot, it is dry, and there is a lot of fuel, a serious danger. But Colleen, we know those water drops, they are occurring.
No, they're going to have to. This is an area that's very hard for firefighters to get to. We know that, again, we have been following this for at least a half hour now, and we know that this is a community that is very much on alert. You can see the fires sort of licking right there on the trail. We do know that Golden Triangle Preschool is sheltering in place at 21706 Golden Triangle Preschool, sheltering in place at this address. So again, for a lot of parents out there, you're watching this, you're away at work, you know this is happening in your neighborhood. We do see fire protection taking place, but again, Mark, this is happening during the hottest day of our summer heat wave. I think it's the hottest day of the year so far. It is so tough for firefighters right now.
Absolutely, and that's serious concern. You bring it up for parents. You get this word of a fire breaking out. People are getting their breaking news alerts, and you realize it's right by your kid's school. You think about that panic for those parents. Of course, those kids will be taken care of, sheltering in place, and if they do need to evacuate, they will. You have an interesting situation here with both homes and businesses. Looking at the map, there is a major shopping complex just to the northeast of the screen. I mean, there's a Sam's Club and other businesses along with the homes as well. So a lot of people and businesses are going to be impacted by this fire that started, again, roughly 30 minutes ago or so. Air 7 getting overhead not long ago. Here's what we can tell you. Structures, of course, are threatened. We have no confirmation of any homes or structures being burned. It's difficult to see all the way through the smoke, but not seeing any super dark smoke, although you look at that and it definitely has an ominous look to it. And there's a lot of fuel down there, just unclear, Colleen, if any structures are burning. We want to bring in Niku Kazori. She's been watching this as well. Niku, as far as the conditions, this is a serious danger.
It really is. And we're looking at those wind speeds right now, pretty strong. And the temperatures out there, really warm too. We're tracking those triple digits right now. Santa Clarita, again, we're under that extreme heat watch, and we're looking at temperatures in the triple digits, 101 in Santa Clarita. And when you mix in this relative humidity, look how low we've gotten out there, just down to 24%. These are fire weather conditions, perfect fire weather conditions. And even though they haven't made it into that red flag warning zone, there is an area right now, sections of Santa Barbara, LA, and Ventura County that are in that red flag area. They're not in it, but of course, we still have these conditions that are great fire weather starters too. Again, the temperatures, they're in the triple digits. digits. Relative humidity is actually down to 24% right now. So we've actually gone down even further from what it was earlier. And those wind speeds anywhere between 10 to 15 miles per hour. And we're tracking gusts up to 20 miles per hour in that zone where that point fire is. And you can see this is the current affected area in the yellow shade. There is that evacuation warning in place there. But again, when you mix in this heat wave that we're dealing with, these are not ideal conditions when it comes to fighting the fire. Look at how large this extreme heat warning is. It's in this hot pink shade, pretty much covering a good chunk of Southern California in that hot pink shade. If you look closely, right under Fraser Park, that is where we have those red flag warnings in place. Again, parts of Santa Barbara, LA, and Ventura counties, they're in that red flag warning. So just barely missing Santa Clarita. But I mean, this is really good proof that you don't have to be in that red flag warning zone to have a fire start. If you have all the right ingredients, again, low humidity, hot temperatures, we can very well see a fire start just like we did here in Santa Clarita. Other than that, we are looking at a heat advisory too. But again, these conditions not ideal, especially for those firefighters out there. And even though the wind speeds right now, we're not talking about anything crazy. We're not talking about 25+ mile per hour winds and gusts up to 50 miles per hour like we have tracked before when it comes to those Santa Ana winds. Still, we see it was enough to start a fire. And with this extreme heat warning in place, it is really not making things any easier for firefighters, Mark and Colleen.
Yeah, certainly not, Niku. Again, thank you for giving us perspective on the weather conditions that firefighters are facing, as well as this community, because again, a lot of us know a lot of people work outside of their home. You can see now Soledad Canyon Road, Mark. It looks like they did end up having to close it down in both directions, or we are not seeing cars. But you can see the hand crews going out. We already said this is a very challenging area for firefighters to get to. So the water drops, they are crucial right now.
Absolutely. Just getting an update on the acreage here. This is being estimated at 33 acres. When we came on the air, it was estimated at 4 to 5. Certainly it's growing. So that latest estimate, just over 30 acres. There's another a helicopter overhead making those water drops, which will be incredibly important. Good that you don't have the massive winds. I wanted to point out, you saw those ground crews walking along the railroad tracks there. We can tell you, for what it's worth, that Metrolink, a lot of people in this area do use that going to and from work for commuting. Metrolink, because of this fire between Newhall and Via Princesa being closed right now due to this fire, that makes sense. You can see the proximity of that rail line to the smoke and the flames. So keep that in mind. If you have anybody using Metrolink this afternoon, you may want to pass that on, and certainly they're getting the alerts as well. One more thing to note as well, this is important for a lot of our viewers. General Hospital, of course, not on the air right now. That will replay at 2:36 this morning right here on KABC. Keep it in mind, you can also watch it on demand anytime on Hulu.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see the fire where it's spreading. You can see on each side. So firefighters have to really be precise where they look to see where's the best spot for us to do the water drops. I haven't seen a huge amount of air support taking place. We know this is very challenging. It would be nearly impossible for a fire engine to make it down in there, but you do see some of those brake lines because this is obviously a hiking sort of trail or a walking trail. But again, you can see on both sides of this fire, you can see it's a tough one for firefighters to get to because the fire definitely has fuel to move through. But you can see, I think there's a helicopter right above it. I think we might be able to see a drop, but again, they have to map out where will the water drop be the most effective to keep properties safe.
Absolutely. And I mentioned it earlier, and it looks to be the case. You see right there that dirt road. It's being called a photo flash road. It kind of is serving almost as a natural fire break right there, because a lot of the flames are not on the south side of that road, but right there, that is a big concern. If you're in that home, you see those flames creeping up, wow, that would be a real concerning sight. Evacuation warning, but I don't know, if I lived in that property, you'd be wanting to pack up and go.
Get yourself ready.
Get your kids, get your pets as well. That is really concerning.
And I keep thinking about it because it's happening, you know, I think it happened close to around 1:45 in the afternoon. It's right in the middle of the day. A lot of people are away from their homes. A lot of people are lucky enough to work remotely as well. So if they see it, they may look out their windows, see the flames, because you can, I would think that some of those homes might be able to see the flames sort of just inching above the ridge line right there. So again, this is an area, if you do live by wild land kind of areas, you are not immune to having that worry that a fire could happen. We have been seeing a lot of the insurance companies really assessing what happens, who they're going to be insuring, because we know fire danger now. It's not a fire season anymore. It's all year round. And we can see, you can kind of see that fire just like marching right in that line. So again, we're watching air support. We're trying to gauge exactly what those homes that are sort of right in the path of the fire, hopefully they will be out of harm's way. But again, and we're sort of just keeping a really good cautious eye on this. But as of right now, we do not see any structures that have been impacted.
Yeah, the majority of the homes of real concern are going to be right there in the center of your screen, right off of Gravett Place. I'm looking at the map as well, since we can't see all the way through the smoke, of course. It's not a massive sized community right there. Gravett Place, Jack Place, Doss Place, all of it is off of Center Point Parkway. Those are the homes most at risk. You have the homes there to the west on the west side of Soledad Canyon. They're going to get a lot of the smoke coming in, but right now I have not seen any flames jump over Soledad Canyon. So there's certainly a very specific, smaller sized neighborhood right there that is of real concern. And we mentioned it, it looks like Soledad Canyon still is open. Well, you know, look, on the northbound side, there is a cruiser there. So they're blocking the northbound side, it looks like.
Yeah, and on the southbound side, they also had, you saw the fire vehicles. So of course, if they think that visibility or if it's hampering their firefighting ability, they certainly will close this area. But again, you can kind of see the way the wind is going. So you can see that very tight community right there on the left-hand side of Soledad Canyon Road. They're obviously on high alert as well.
You know what becomes a real concern with the road closures is not just for the fire crews getting in and out, but I'm looking again at the map. This neighborhood right here, these homes are really only accessed by Soledad Canyon. So you think about living there, and if you're trying to get in, get anybody, get any items, you're going to have a real difficult time making it right up there to Primo Way, because that's one of the main entrances. It's almost like looking at the map that it's one way in, one way out. So if that road's closed, there's going to be a lot of concern for people who can't get home.
What a challenging evacuation if they were to see anything like that. And I'm sure they know that. I'm sure this community, when they see a wildfire, they probably think about that it's not as easy to access this road. I know that we do have a ground crew. They're arriving on the scene. We're getting some images right now from the ground. From above, it looks so different than on the ground. You can see it right there. You can see the firefighters hustling at getting those hoses out, and you saw those flames just so intense.
That was kind of the opposite point of view from what we saw from Air 7 of the flames coming up the hillside with those homes behind. Now we know what it looks like standing down on there. That might be Gravett Place by looking at the images. But fire crews, thank goodness. You live there, what do you want to see? Firefighters arriving on the ground. And the aerial attack, the fact that we have both of those right now, that is a good sign. Nika Kazori is with us, tracking the weather conditions. You mentioned the winds are not incredible.
Right.
That being said, in the forecast at all for the winds to get worse, to pick up? Sometimes these fires kind of create their own weather system. Just a moment ago,
the
fire tornado
yeah.
that kind of creates its own system.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, while these winds, they're not the extreme wind speeds that we're used to whenever we talk about fires exploding and really just tracking those Santa Ana winds. We're not talking about those wind speeds, but of course, right now it is actually enough to influence the direction and how wide the fire can spread. So it's just a matter of just a waiting game to see exactly how things are going to play out. But as of this afternoon, the biggest battle that we're going to be facing is these really hot temperatures. And again, the dry vegetation out there and the relative humidity. The wind speeds are not expected to pick up any greater than what we're looking at. This is going to be the peak of it. The afternoon is the peak. And right now we're tracking wind speeds there anywhere between 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts just around 20 miles per hour. But again, the biggest battle will be these really hot temperatures and the fact that a good chunk of Southern California is under a heat advisory. So right now, Santa Clarita, 101 degrees. We're tracking those triple digits, and the relative humidity sensor in Santa Clarita is showing 24%. But where this fire is, which is just slightly north of where our sensor in Santa Clarita is, we're tracking relative humidity around 30% there. So even that's not that great. But again, we're not talking about single digits. So in this 30% range, that we're seeing the fire stay where it's at right now, around this size. And again, we're not talking about extreme wind speeds, and we're not looking like we're going to see those wind speeds really increase in the next few hours heading into later this afternoon into this evening. But it's just around 20 miles per hour. So yes, that's still enough to create fire conditions in that area. The hot temperatures really making it difficult for firefighters on the ground to deal with this fire, this point fire. And here, if we zoom in, this is the area that's under that evacuation warning where that fire is, just north of Santa Clarita. But again, we're talking about an extreme heat warning in place. So when you mix in all of these ingredients, this is not ideal when it comes to fires. This is the type of weather that creates fires. So even though where Santa Clarita is, it's not in that red shade that we have red flag warnings in place. We saw what happened with an area that's not under this red flag warning, how it's still possible, even with these lower wind speeds, to still have a fire start just because we're dealing with triple-digit weather and low relative humidity. So overall, not a good combination. The other thing I'm also concerned about is also the air quality at this point. So we're dealing with all that smoke out there. I'm sure in our graphics it really hasn't had time to update to really show us what the air quality is like. But I'm sure in the next few hours, we could probably get an update and see just how bad the air quality is getting for folks in that area. So just not a good combination when you factor in everything. Right now, the wind speeds are westerly. So again, we're not tracking Santa Ana winds, but residents in this area should just be on alert, try to tune in as much as they can, stay alert for these changing conditions, because we see just how fast fire conditions can change. Right now, what we're tracking is the fire has burned 33 acres, and it's all with the wind speeds anywhere between that 10 to 15 mile per hour range. If that changes, if that increases, of course, that could add more fuel to the fire too, Mark and Colleen.
Yeah, absolutely, Niku. Again, we're really watching this fire, and we do see a lot of smoke, a lot of white smoke. I'm not sure. Again, it must be very hard to find the water resources to bring in the helicopters, because I don't see them at an interval like we do see in other fires. But you can see, you can see on the bottom side of the screen right there, you can see the fire sort of flaring up around the edges there. So again, it's not as though this fire is by any chance done with, but again, you don't see a huge amount of water drops taking place, which is really ideal for this sort of terrain.
Yeah, we've seen some of the water drops, but yeah, it's not a deluge at this point of any matter. Almost like a reservoir right there to the bottom left of the screen. I believe this is the Via Princesa open space. So you see all of the land, the vegetation that has the potential to burn, but I think most of the fire is kind of burning almost away from that area, but yet at the same time still kind of creeping in that direction. And I think if the wind was blowing in the other direction, there'd be more of a concern, because there are additional homes to the south of this fire. The Claiborne's Arch neighborhood and Placerita Canyon, those areas are to the south of this fire. And again, for those of you who are just tuning in, I know typically General Hospital is airing right now. We are breaking in with this coverage of this fire in the Santa Clarita area. Started around, well, sometime before 1:50 this afternoon, so we're approaching 50 minutes at least, up about an hour of this fire. It is burning west of Golden Valley Road, south of Soledad Canyon Road in the Santa Clarita area. It's being called the Point Fire, and as we mentioned, you saw it on the screen just a moment ago, and Niku mentioned 33 acres was the last estimate. When you zoom in and you see the flames, gives you an idea of how much vegetation, and right there, one of those choppers coming through, whether it's going to be dropping water or kind of just assessing the situation. It's good to see that, because there are times when we have these fires and heavy winds that you're not able to get the air attack up just due to the conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's so hot out there. I was looking at the bottom right-hand side where Air 7 was showing. You see all those sort of white, I don't know if those are vehicles. They look almost like beehives, but we do know when you're being told to make sure your home has defensible space, you can see how slowly the fire moves when it is hitting sort of defensible space where it's not a lot of brush. So this area in a way has a lot of defensible space to it, it looks like, which may be why when we see it get through some really good deep brush, we see the black plumes of smoke, and we see the fire really igniting. But again, it is staying within the parameter of this area. Again, you can see cars, they are still moving back and forth freely on Soledad Canyon Road. Sky Map 7 is really incredible because we have been able to see where exactly the neighborhoods, the homes that people need to start thinking about evacuating.
Yeah, that may be like a developing situation then with the crews and those in charge on the ground, because a moment ago we saw Soledad Canyon, it was shut down. And so, yeah, speaking to your point, Colleen, maybe they're assessing, okay, let these cars get through. Let's not get a major backup. Let's see if it gets worse. Let's see if it crosses the road there. And you see on the right, as we saw earlier, more and more ground crews coming in. They are going to assist with the fire breaks, making sure they get a real line around this fire. And okay, so we have the two choppers up clearly. We have two Air 7s up in the air right now, giving you different angles, different views of this fire. Chris Christie will be joining us momentarily with his perspective on this fire that broke out just about an hour ago. You are watching a special edition, an early edition here of Eyewitness News at 3 p.m. Mark Cotorobles along with Colleen Sullivan and Niku Kazori. And Chris Christie is in Air 7. When he's ready, he will join us. But you see on the right side of the screen, those are homes to the west side of Soledad Canyon. No active flames over there, but a lot of that smoke as well.
A lot of smoke. It's definitely producing a lot of smoke. A lot of people are seeing this. They're trying to figure out, what do we need to do? As of right now, if you see the smoke over your home, start getting your things in order, because sometimes you will get very little notice to evacuate. You know how quickly fires can spread. Also, we did see some Metrolink on top of, sort of assessing the railroad system there. We do know that parts of Metrolink, it's been closed to Newhall and via Princesses, it's closed because of this fire. So again, if that is your mode of transportation, you are going to have to redirect your thoughts and try to figure out another way to get home. I do, again, feel for all of the people who are not home right now, who are getting the alerts that there is a fire in your neighborhood, and you're having to try to face, how do I get home? How do I get to my belongings, my pets, my family? Because you can see that this fire is still taking off.
Absolutely. At least you have firefighters on the ground to the right side of the screen protecting those homes. Up above, we have Chris Christie live right now in Air 7 arriving on scene. Chris, what can you see? What's your perspective?
Well, Mark, lots of fuel left to burn here as this fire continues to creep uphill. Fortunately, going away from the structures, but still, though, very close to Gravette Place. They are trying to engage with the fire on that side of the main body of flames. They're trying to protect those structures. You can see a number of homes right along Gravette, Jack Place, and Doss Place. Those are the immediate streets that are now being blanketed with smoke from the Point Fire, LA County Fire, with several fire assets overhead, including the Quick Reaction Force helitanker, which is picking up some more water to continue to battle this blaze just south of Soledad Canyon Road and just to the west of Center Point Parkway. This is the Point Fire, and they also have that daycare that you guys mentioned, the Notre Dame Children's Academy, which is now sheltering in place. You can see fire personnel on the scene down there as well. Of course, lots of concerned parents and families tuning in now, trying to get the latest on this fire. This fire is burning away. It has burned around this neighborhood and is continuing to push in the opposite direction, away from the neighborhood, away from the structures, into about 100 acres of medium fuel that is ripe for burning on a day like today. The temperatures in excess of 90 to 95 degrees, lots of dry tinder down there, and you can see this fire with very little in its way as they continue to tackle it both on the south side with helicopters, as well as the structure protection keeping this fire at bay on the south side. Guys?
Yeah, Chris, thank you. I'm kind of curious. You can get a better vantage point. You saw those up on, there's like these little white, I don't know if they're like beehives or if they're vehicles. I can't really get it right there. Are those, I just can't really figure out. Do you know what those look like? Or pallets? I was trying to see if, because at first, objects appear smaller and larger, whatever your vantage point is, but
unfortunately, that is indeed a bee colony that is set up right on the other side of that fire road, and with any luck, that fire road may stop the fire in its tracks.
Yeah.
There's a good possibility that that fire will slow down once it reaches that fire road. You can see the flames brushing up right up against the dirt there, and hopefully that bee colony will be spared. But you know, obviously those precious bumblebees are definitely at risk. You can see they are surrounded by brush, but the actual lot itself is pretty clear. So again, hopefully if this fire does continue to progress, it'll kind of burn around that bee colony. And again, there are several fire roads in this area that hopefully will do the job of containing this fire naturally. These are man-made fire breaks, and they are very effective in certain conditions to stopping these fires. We don't have very heavy winds. When you have the heavy winds, that's when those fire roads are pretty much useless. But there are hiking trails up there and fire roads that are very, very productive in a situation like this. Here come the dozer crews. They will also be pivotal in digging lines and trying to contain this fire.
Chris, have you seen, speaking of pivotal firefighting resources, have you seen a lot of air support, or are you hearing a lot of chatter about air support? We're actually showing some earlier video from the ground as well, as we see firefighters fighting it, but we haven't seen a huge arsenal of air support yet.
Yeah, they are tackling it very aggressively. Several Blackhawks on the scene down there. Several Firehawks from LA County Fire have been on scene here for about the last 45 minutes. Within minutes of this fire being reported, County Fire was already fighting this fire. Also, they have dispatched the Quick Reaction Force helitanker, that Chinook helicopter, which is also engaging with this firefight. So they have all of the tools at their disposal, both on land and from the air. Those dozer crews getting into place, strike teams now getting their equipment out. There's the helitanker. That's the big one right there that will drop copious amounts of water along the leading edge of this fire, right along that fire road there, to try and slow down the forward progress. Again, the winds being what they are here, you know, this should be a relatively, you know, routine fire to contain. But there's a lot of thick brush down there. I mean, look at all that grass on the left side of that ridge line, and a lot of medium fuel in the immediate vicinity of where this fire started and where it spread. It started at around 4 to 5 acres at the initial report, easily closer to 50 acres by now, and probably another 25 to burn before those fire roads are surrounded by fire. And hopefully, like I said, that will contain or help contain the main body of flames here. The great news, though, is that while the smoke is blanketing this neighborhood just along Soledad Canyon Road, the fire is moving in the opposite direction. It's really a terrain-driven fire at this point.
All right, Chris Christie live there on Air 7. Appreciate it. Yeah, you mentioned routine fire. I believe CAL FIRE has told us in the past that most fires that break out stay under 10 acres. It's these bigger fires that you start hearing about and when our coverage comes into play. Joining us live right now on the phone, Jonathan Torres, LA County Fire, giving us some important, hopefully new information on what's happening down there. Jonathan, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Last check we heard was 33 acres. Clearly, we can see from Air 7 the size of the fire. What's the very latest as far as numbers and the situation for you?
That is the correct acreage, sir. I know we're just shy of 200 personnel on the ground. We do have aerial assets as well. There, we got 2 Firehawks and 2 helitankers there, with capabilities of dropping 1,000 and 3,000 gallons respectively. I think you can see our bulldozer on scene as well. Putting up a perimeter around the fire, keeping it down to mineral soil so as to keep it from spreading from one area of brush to the next. There is a wildland-urban interface there. You can see there are neighborhoods adjacent to it. So we're going to have structured defense groups strategically placed throughout those neighborhoods, ready to defend property and life as we deem fit there.
Okay, I want to remind our viewers you are watching a special edition of Eyewitness News at 3 p.m. This is Jonathan Torres with LA County Fire on the phone. And Jonathan, I know it's early. That being said, is there any early word or indication of what may have started this fire?
You know what? Every brush fire, sir, it's going to be investigated. So we'll get investigators on their way. I don't want to get ahead of any investigation or speculate as to what it may be, but you can rest assured we will have our investigators on scene to try to figure out what exactly happened there.
And Jonathan, around what time did this fire start? We're thinking around, we started learning about it at 1:51. When did LA County Fire learn about the fire?
So we got the initial notification for a brush fire at approximately 1:40, and that was to the 21,300 block of Center Point Parkway there in the city of Santa Clarita. We were dispatched a minute later and en route as well. And then we were on scene within 5 minutes.
Jonathan, what about the fire breaks, those fire roads that we
Yes.
see around the fire on the south side? Those have got to be really helpful. How do those come into play?
Absolutely. Those are strategically placed there. They are natural fire breaks for us, obviously. And you could see some of the dozers are doing some cleanup there because sometimes it does get overgrown. But they're absolutely doing, they're helping us out. They're out basically, they're a natural barrier for that fire. So they're just reinforcing it there with the dozers, and hopefully we can get a hand on it.
Yeah, what a view there of that water drop we just saw live from Air 7. I got to give kudos both to Chris Christie and Air 7 and Colleen Sullivan. I would have never known what you see right there in the center of the screen from Air 7 that was a bee colony. So the fact that you two were able to pick that up. Jonathan, let me ask, if that is in fact a bee colony, does that come into play whatsoever with how your crews are working right there in the area?
We absolutely, you got to remember our mission, sir, is life, property, and the environment. So that absolutely matters to us. Animals and wildlife of that sort are absolutely on our radar. We're going to do everything in our power to not only save life, but the environment as well. And that includes the wildlife.
Absolutely. I'm sure a lot of us are happy to hear you say that, Jonathan, because, you know, we know how precious bee colonies are, especially.
Absolutely.
We know that many times they do get wiped out in fires, and it's a dramatic loss to the person, to the people who rely on that raw honey to be distributed. You know, a lot of farmers markets, it's people's livelihood. And again, they are little beings, the little worker bees and the queen bees, and we know that the tenders, people who tend to them, it is their sort of their full-time job. So
100%.
I value that you value them as well. But we are seeing the firefight. Have you heard any chatter from your crews from above? Because we're watching. We know that you have 4 air assault vehicles. You said you have 2 Firehawks and 2 helicopters that can drop 1,000 to 3,000 gallons of water on this.
That's correct.
Where are they getting the water? It doesn't seem like it looks like there was a water resource right there, but I haven't seen the air crews trying to get the water from those locations.
That's a good question, ma'am. I'm not sure. I don't have that up on information currently, but I'm sure we're going to sell it. So what we do is we set up helispots in strategic locations that are close, so the closest ones. And what we'll do is we'll have a whole crew go set up a lay that's specifically made for copters such as our Firehawk to touch down and fill up within seconds. So those will get filled there. The bigger tankers, the 3,000-gallon heli-tankers, those may not, I believe, be filled there. So they might be looking for a natural water source to be snorkeling and or filling up on the ground.
Right. I have one more question. I'm looking at Soledad Canyon Road, and I'm seeing some of the traffic as we look at the Chinook helicopter that's going to make a water drop as well. I'm seeing Soledad Canyon Road. We have noticed that it has been open, but now I feel like I see the traffic backed up. Do you have any word on if this area is going to stay or going to close?
That's a great question. That's going to be handled there at the incident command post, and that'll be a determination between not only the command but also law enforcement, because they got to strategically close and open where they deem fit for not only for egress but also exiting out of that immediate area. So that's a great question. I'll leave that to law enforcement to handle. It may be with the Sheriff's Department and or CHP on scene.
Jonathan, I know we're taking a lot of your time, but we so appreciate you providing this insight for us. And I want to address something that may impact the people who live right there off of Centerpoint Parkway. It's the area of Gravett Place, Jack Place, Doss Place. It's those homes right there to the right of the screen. It looks like the fire is done burning in that immediate area. What do you think, by your assessment, are those homes now safe? How concerned should they be? I mean, we don't typically see the fire burning back in that direction.
I apologize. I'm kind of here scouring the screens for new information. I'm not actively looking at what your picture is, but if it looks like it's burned out, I agree that once that fuel is burned, there's still that possibility of a rekindle, right, and getting adjacent to it, but it's always a good sign when there's no more unburned fuel between homes and a fire. So
yeah, we don't see any active flames here on the hillside right behind the homes, and it looks like it's burned over that hillside, now kind of burning into that Via Princesa open space, I believe is the name of this wildland area. So yeah, that would be a good indication for the people who live there.
Absolutely.
At least the fire has moved on, now kind of burning in this area where, yes, there's fuel, but there's also space for the fuel to burn. And again, those fire breaks, the fire roads that may assist in kind of getting this thing out.
Absolutely. That coupled with the structured defense groups that we have strategically placed throughout those little neighborhoods there should be enough water and manpower there to be able to put this out.
Yeah, Jonathan, they are, you know, your crews, they are making really quick work of this fire. It's pretty incredible to see the difference from now to about an hour ago where it was really actively producing a lot of black smoke. But if you are this community, you shouldn't let your guard down just yet. Do you have any advice? Because I know we sort of say, get yourself ready. But when you start hearing the fire engines coming, a lot of the community doesn't necessarily heed the warning. So at what point do you feel like heed the warning, understand that you need to evacuate as soon as you get the word?
Absolutely. So we have a couple of programs set up. One is our Ready, Set, Go program, and we encourage the public to view that on our website, which is fire.lacounty.gov. It's one of our programs, and it's basically a prep, but basically gets you ready in the event of a emergency, not only a brush fire, but any kind of emergency that we may come across. We can sign up for alerts at alertla.org. That'll get you your alerts on your cell phone. And the last one is the protect.genesis.com. That'll tell you exactly where you're at in relation to warning zones as well as order zones. So those are great resources. But I do want to say, if you're in a warning zone, treat it like a mandatory evacuation order. We want to get you in the best position possible, and waiting till the last minute is not advisable. So we always want to make sure you're getting your information from reputable sources. LA County Fire, any one of our socials, our media handles will be a great resource, and news organizations such as yourselves.
All right, Jonathan, we are coming up to the end of this special edition of Eyewitness News at 3 p.m. We will begin a new half hour of Eyewitness News. That being said, as we wrap this portion up, how concerned are you for the rest of the quote-unquote fire season? Here we are in the middle of July. Should this be a clear warning?
Absolutely. I mean, we live in Southern California. This is our tornado/hurricane. We're used to the earthquakes and we're used to brush fires. It's unfortunate, but it's a fact of life that we have to live with here in Southern California. Brush season is year-long now. It's no longer a season. So what we ask as the public, that's part of the reason why we do our inspections every year, those brush clearance zones that we specified. It's for a reason. We ask you guys to help us provide some defense, and we'll provide the offense. That's the great importance of keeping brush clearance around your homes.
Okay, Jonathan Torres, appreciate it. Hang tight on the line for just a moment. Check with our producers, but we are going to begin right now Eyewitness News at 3 p.m.
This is Eyewitness News with live breaking news.
And we do have breaking news as we come on the air at 3 o'clock. Crews are battling a brush fire that's burning near neighborhoods in Santa Clarita. I'm Colleen Sullivan.
And I'm Mark Cotorobles along with Nika Kazori and Chris Christie live in Air 7. Chris, this is looking a lot better than it was, say, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, firefighters have made great progress here as they continue to battle this fire from a number of different angles. The fire is burning through medium fuel south of Soledad Canyon Road. Near a neighborhood is where it started, but it has continued to move away from that neighborhood into the woodlands here, just along Center Point Parkway, I should say, which is the name of this fire. The Point Fire is what they are calling this. There are multiple fire hawks on scene, 2 helitankers working this fire, dozer crews now surrounding this fire, and we showed you just a little bit earlier on abc7.com that bee colony along Photo Flash Road, I believe, and what did you say that? Azide Road. You can see that appears to have been spared as well. So again, good progress here in Santa Clarita. There is an evacuation warning in place. Also a shelter in place warning for the Notre Dame Children's Academy. That is still in place as well. But again, the overall picture here is improving by the minute. Here comes another fire hawk with another water drop in store here. And again, they are really pounding this fire, guys.
They certainly are, Chris. And thank you so much for giving us our perspective from there. We do know that there are 2 Firehawks and 2 helicopters that are actively fighting this fire from above. Nika Kazori, she is also going to be joining our coverage right now to talk about the weather conditions. We know that when you were talking about this heat wave, it was also a fire concern.
Absolutely. And we even do have some areas that are in that red flag warning. So Santa Clarita, it was spared, but I mean, we saw it live, how easily, even if you're not in that red flag warning area, fires can happen because we have all all the ingredients for that fire weather. Look at the temperature right now in Santa Clarita. It is 101 degrees. This is the hottest time of the afternoon, and you have to think about the vegetation in that area as well. It has had hours and also days. We've been talking about the extreme heat warning for days now that we've been dealing with. That vegetation has had so much time to dry out under that afternoon sun, making fuels more receptive to catching on fire as well. And we saw what happened right now with those hot conditions and also the relative humidity. Right now, the Santa Clarita sensor is showing humidity levels down to 24%. But where that fire is, just slightly north of Santa Clarita, the relative humidity is around 30%. When it comes to our wind speeds, we're not tracking any intense wind, but it really doesn't take much when it comes to the wind speeds, when it comes to actually seeing a fire start. Right now, it's in that 10 to 15 mile per hour range, but gusts up to 20 miles per hour in that area near Santa Clarita. As we go through the evening and into the overnight hours, of course, we do have some relief. So that westerly wind, anywhere between 10 to 15 miles per hour, it starts to calm down as we head into the overnight hours, down to the single digits, and then it starts to kick back up as we head into tomorrow morning. But it looks like the firefighters already got a really good grip on handling that fire out there. But this is what we are dealing with. 100-degree temperatures out in the Santa Clarita area, relative humidity down to 30%. The winds right now, again, anywhere between 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts ranging up to 20 miles per hour. As we zoom in to where that fire is, that affected area is this yellow shade, and they're under that evacuation warning. Treat this seriously. And again, it's very unpredictable when it comes to fire weather, especially when we're under this extreme heat warning. We're talking about really hot conditions, above average temperatures for a good chunk of Southern California. All of this shaded pink area that you see is under that extreme heat warning. And again, Santa Clarita, they were under this extreme heat warning. They were not under this red flag warning, where of course it's even easier to see fires start, but we still saw a fire start in Santa Clarita. So this area in this red shade is going to be under that red flag warning. It goes for portions of Santa Barbara County, LA, and Ventura County. So they're even more susceptible to seeing a fire compared to other areas. We're seeing breezy conditions there, relative humidity even lower. And again, with all that vegetation in place, and it's had hours to cook in the sun, it's very easy for it to catch fire. So really keeping our eyes on the red flag warning areas, on the extreme heat warning areas, because again, we are tracking this heat wave. We're looking at these above average temperatures. Today and tomorrow are the hottest days this week. And we've been talking about this for quite some time now. We've been given a good amount of warning, but now that we're here, I'm not too surprised that we are seeing conditions like this, and we did see a fire start up. We don't know the exact reason behind that fire, but again, this is perfect fire weather. We have the low relative humidity, we have these perfect conditions, triple-digit temperatures, we have all that vegetation in place, so just not a good combination. And again, even though we had some of that monsoonal moisture move in, you would think that, okay, we had that monsoonal moisture, maybe it helped our humidity levels. Not so much, because we're dealing with all this heat out there. We're still talking about relative humidity down to the teens in some areas. And again, that's where those red flag warnings are in place. But again, this shows you don't have to be in that area with the red flag warning to still see a fire happening. Another concern that I have, of course, is air quality, where that fire is. We're definitely keeping our eyes on that as well. And also the wind speeds. Right now, it's not intense, anywhere between 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts up to 20. But the slightest change in that wind direction could make the biggest difference when it comes to the way that that fire is going to burn. So that's not helping. These hot temperatures are not helping, and these hot temperatures will stick with us as we head into tomorrow, and we really won't see any relief, Mark and Colleen, until we head into this weekend. So we just have to be on alert at least until this weekend.
Absolutely. Good advice. Nika Kazori, thank you. You saw the live image from Air 7. You saw on your map as well that you were showing with the fire. The area here, the evacuation warnings, they are issued or were issued for the area that was south of Soledad Canyon Road and west of Golden Valley Road. So this is east of the 5 freeway, north of the 14. Those homes, we believe from what we've seen, they really did kind of dodge a bullet here. They don't seem to be in imminent danger. That being said, when there is a warning in place, that means you should be prepared to go. I do want to mention one more thing. Metrolink in the area, the train tracks are right there near the burn zone, and Metrolink trains shut down between Via Princesa and Newhall. Chris Christie, live at Air 7. Chris, what are you seeing?
Hey there, Mark. Well, it looks like they are making tremendous progress here. You can see there's another batch of flames right there. They're going to start tackling that dozer aggressively, trying to protect that bee colony right there near the top of your screen. We've been keeping an eye on that for some time now, but you can see there is some active flame very close to there, and that's some of the last remaining flame left here. This fire, in general, is looking much better, much more promising. That evacuation warning, very unlikely to turn into an order, as there are no structures threatened at this point. You can see it is really a smoky situation. Smells like a really big barbecue down there in this part of Santa Clarita, right along Soledad Canyon Road, but they are rapidly transitioning into the mop-up phase of the point fire, guys.
Absolutely. Chris, I was just, you also, we were also looking at this dozer driver, very talented. They really are sort of doing some delicate dancing around that bee colony where they are trying to protect it. But we saw just a moment ago, Air 7 was actually zoomed in on one of the fire helicopters, that the snorkel. So that was sort of interesting, Chris. I'm sure you see this often, but they sort of had a makeshift like pool, like a little helispot for the firefighter, helicopter to go ahead and snorkel and pull up at least 1,000 gallons of water.
That's exactly right. Those are mobile helispots. They're basically giant tubs that are located all over the LA County area, and they can be dipped into by those firehawks. And fortunately, the location here is optimal. They have it set up right near the fire, so very little turnaround time. And then they also have, of course, we have the 2 helitankers that are using the Disney's Golden Ranch up in Santa Clarita as well, coming in handy right now to resupply those guys right there. They are dropping about 3,000 gallons with each and every drop as they continue to just kind of surround this fire. The containment part of the firefighting process will last for hours into the evening before they get anywhere near 100% containment. I think, though, the spread of this fire is basically coming to a halt.
You mentioned just now the Disney Golden Ranch. So that's like a filming location, right? That's nowhere immediately close to the fire, though, correct?
That's right. It's not too far, but it's close enough that it's a great place to resupply those helitankers. It's been often used over there. You're right. It is a movie studio. Lots of famous westerns and other reality shows have been shot there and are still shot there every year, and it is a very handy spot for fighting fires in the Santa Clarita Valley. Just one of many that dot the landscape up here. This Santa Clarita Valley is also surrounded by Castaic Lake to the north and points beyond. There's reservoirs to the south here, just south of Newhall. So they've got lots of options, and they will continue to use them. But it does look like they will probably start backing off here as they release these units, guys.
Yeah, well, you had mentioned earlier a potential quote-unquote routine fire, and when this is all said and done, that kind of may be the case, that a close call for these homes, but it doesn't become massive in size. Chris, as we wrap up with you here at the moment, the wind speeds 15 to 20, I believe Niku mentioned. Looking forward on other fire days, how significant do the winds need to be to ground you and the fire crews?
Well, so then you're talking about something like almost like a Santa Ana wind event where you have winds in excess of 35, 40, 45 knots. Nowhere close to that today. This is really relatively optimal firefighting conditions, other than the fact that it is very hot, both on the ground and up in the air, so it's not the most comfortable, but the winds are basically a non-factor in a situation like this. This has really been a terrain-driven fire that started very close to that neighborhood, right along the property line of several structures, and then quickly, as it spread to the south, kind of moved away from that neighborhood, really sparing about almost 100 homes in that community, moving in the opposite direction into an area where there are no more structures, and it's just kind of climbing the hills. It's a hilly area, not a mountainous area, but small hills. Again, lots of hiking trails down there and fire roads, as you can see, but that terrain is enough to drive that fire uphill until it reaches the ridge lines. And you can see, like we talked about earlier, those fire roads have really done the job of halting the progress of this fire.
Yeah, and you're talking about another workhorse of halting the fire, the Chinook helicopters. Like you were just saying, 3,000 gallons of water. That Chinook just snorkeled up about 3,000 gallons, and now they're going to end up having to figure out someone is their eyes right above. Are they sort of watching above, Chris, and they're directing where the fire crews should be dropping water?
That's right. There are spotter aircraft, more often used with the fixed-wing tankers, but in situations like this quick reaction force is vital, and it is something that is unique to Southern California, LA County, and Ventura County, armed with on-demand helitankers to put these fires out.
Okay, Chris Christie live on Air 7. More coverage of the Point Fire from Santa Clarita in just a moment. We'll check in with the weather in Nicu right after this. Hi, everyone. We are continuing to follow this breaking news, a brush fire in the Santa Clarita area. It's been burning now for well over an hour. Let's go back to Chris Christie live right now on Air 7. Chris?
That's right, continuing to keep an eye on the Point Fire, as you mentioned. Now burning about an hour and 15. They are making tremendous progress here. Those dozer crews hard at work, digging lines around the leading edge of this fire, which is essentially what remains of this fire, which started as a 4 to 5 acre brush fire near Gravette Place in Santa Clarita, just south of Soledad Canyon Road. You can see strike teams now on the scene down there, stretching out headlines and getting ready to put this fire to bed. The threat to structures, thankfully, has been mitigated. Reporting live from Air 7, I'm Chris Christie, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
It's always great to see that. All right, Chris, thank you so much. And with the extreme and dangerous heat this afternoon, we are watching out for any possible power outages.
Right now, SoCal Edison considering shutting off the power to several thousand people because of wildfire concerns. Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia live at Pasadena as people prepare for possible outages. And Sid, it's about 94 degrees where you are.
But a real feel, according to our weather gauge, 98 degrees. Anyway you add it up, it is very, very hot. And that's the reason why Edison customers, a few thousand of them, are looking at a possible power shutoff. This is supposed to be the hottest day of the week, and if you've been outside, you're feeling it. And because of the high heat, around 3,500 Southern California Edison customers are being considered for public safety power shutoffs.
Public safety power shutoffs happen when there's a combination of strong winds, very dry vegetation, and low humidity, which is what we're seeing in some of these areas now, or what we anticipate seeing today and tomorrow.
And those conditions elevate the fire danger. Here's what Edison customers told us about the possibility of having their power shut off. If yours goes out, you ready, just in case?
Half ready. We have water at least, so that will get us by.
And just deal with it for the hour or so that's going to be off.
Yeah, either if it's hot, maybe go to a shade, like to the park, go out, or maybe to the mall, walk around somewhere, try to keep cool.
You prepared just in case?
No, I love my air conditioner. So, yeah, I mean, I can go down to the beach and ride my bike, and that'll be fun. Nice change of pace.